For staying with us, everyone. Now to the UK, where Prime Minister Keir Starmer has cancelled plans to delay the country's local council election in about 30 areas in May. In a surprise announcement, which followed a legal challenge to the plans from Nigel Farage's Reform UK, the country's Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government scrapped plans to delay votes, which would have affected millions of people. The government has written to all affected city councils where voting were not expected to take place. Right, let's bring in now global affairs analyst Benga Onifade. He joins me from the UK. Good to have you join us.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We're once again seeing. I'm trying to phrase this, decisions being made and walked back by the Keir Starmer administration. In all of the struggles that administration now faces, where does this fit in?
Well, I mean, the same way you are struggling for words, I think that's the same feeling I get, really. If this has happened in China, in Nigeria, in America, I think the world will be arms in air. And this is something which you don't expect to happen in a mature democracy. I mean, we're talking about I think in terms of perspective, we're talking on the scale of the midterms in America. This is meant to be an acid test for Keir Starmer's premiership. This is something which will tell if, the Prime Minister will survive as a PM or not, because we know he has been struggling considerably for a while now. The party's been facing quite a lot, and we've got quite a lot of top level resignations from the Labour Party, regardless of who you support. I think even Labour Party members, they are struggling to be able to justify this kind of a thing. And I think one of the most important thing was he didn't actually have to go to court. It had to be called down, and now it's just horrible. We're talking 5 million people, and I think the reasons they gave, which I would have thought was credible. Okay, they thought it was going to help with the restructure of the councils, which would not exist anyway because there'll be a form of a merger in future, and at the same time, it will help them save some money in delaying these things. But if you look at the opinion poll, we know Labour is struggling, and even below Reform. Labour, Keir Starmer's premiership, who's been the Labour leader for 5 years, he has been struggling with lots and lots of U-turns. I think this is probably the 16th in the last 2 years. So unfortunately, there's no other way we can colour this. This is not good.
I mean, Nigel Farage is having a field day from the resignations to the walk back of decisions. It seems to be helping him at the polls and British people defecting to his party. But I wanted to sort of stay with what you said earlier, the reasons that were given. It seems a bit credible, and I'm wondering why they did not stay with that. Because Reid, who is the Secretary of Local Government and Housing, had said that running elections for short-lived, he called them zombie councils, will divert scarce resources away from frontline services like fixing potholes and social care. It sounds reasonable. Why do you think that he did not stick with that decision?
Well, I mean, as reasonable as it gets, if you think about the Electoral Council, who's in charge of conducting the elections, they just said you cannot do this. So it wasn't even to the point whereby Reform had won. Reform did not have to go to court.
Just a minute, Benga. I'm wondering, because again, you have talked about the merger of some of these local councils, and if they're going to be merged any moment now, why hold council elections?
You've got to understand that the premiership, or the Prime Minister had 2.5, 3 years to prepare for this. He had known that, but I think as much as you might not like Farage or myself, for example, it just looks like they are succumbing. Like I said again in the opinion poll, Nigel Farage is ahead, and is ahead by quite a lot of numbers. Number one. Number two, they could have they could have made it more credible. They should have contacted the Electoral Council. This statement should be coming from the Electoral Council, not from them. And what made it a lot more weaker is the fact that the minute Nigel Farage said we are going to court, they had to bail out. And you know what made it worse again? Reform, I mean, the Labour were paying reform fees, number one. Number two, reform had to post the letter on social media just to make a mockery of it all, which again, we're talking in the millions, which they will be paying reform. And where's the money coming from? The same money they said they will be saving is going to be coming, which is taxpayers' expenses. So unfortunately, Labour's got nowhere to hide in this situation.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. I was
yeah,
agreeing with you because I read a statement coming from Lib Dems, which is Labour Democrats. Yeah, I mean, they're also taking the glory for, the walk back of the decision. The Tories, which is the Conservatives, are also, I mean, what's her name? She seems to be attacking, I mean, she's been attacking
Badenoch.
Badenoch, yeah, she's been attacking Keir Starmer, for a while now. But I just want to ask you what this means for the ability now to conduct these elections at short notice.
Well, it doesn't, well, it does take much to conduct elections. We do have the Electoral Council who do have things in place. I think we have over 5,000 councils, for example. So conducting for 30, it's not going to be much of a big deal. Yes, we've got May. They're going to have to pull resources to this. I think the key, it just put the spotlights on Labour, whereby we've got more U-turns in the last 2 years than in all 30 years of government, which is just horrible, really, number one. And then again, if Labour had been on high, then we would have thought, okay, the excuses could be credible. But Labour is on the low right now. The government is struggling. And even just to put a nail in the coffin today, the new data came out. In terms of UK unemployment, it's gone over 5%, which's gone to the lowest in the last 5 years, which kind of coincides with Keir Starmer's leader of leadership of the Labour government. So a lot of the Labour Party, I mean, a lot has got to change, and it's got to change fast. Unfortunately, it does not look like Keir Starmer's got a handle of things. And this is me speaking as as a Labour supporter. So he's got to start taking the bulls by the horn. I mean, the last time he made a statement, he made a very bold statement at a close call meeting they had, which is a couple of weeks ago. He's not getting a hand on things, but people are saying, he's just not doing the right job. I think number two, the other pointer right here is the fact that we now have quite a different bettings. If you're going to put a bet on it that would it last this year, I think there's more people swaying on the side that he might not see the end of this year as the prime minister.
I mean, 6 prime ministers in a short period of time in the UK.